So with this, we finish this part of the lesson regarding those ahadith proving that we have to follow the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now move on to the next page. We move on to the next page, and from ijma'. Now ijma', in brackets, as you can see, it says consensus of the scholars. Now ijma', in simple terms, is whenever you have all of the scholars, the mujtahidun, the highest caliber of scholars, all of them to get together, if not physically, but all of them, they agree on an Islamic ruling at one time, then that is considered ijma'. That is considered ijma'. So for example, let's say in the time of Sahaba there was an issue. Now all of the Sahaba said it is haram. As soon as every single Sahabi said it is haram, then that is called ijma'. And ijma' is something which is obligatory upon a Muslim to follow. And I believe last week I mentioned a story from Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah, how somebody asked him for the proof for ijma', and how he went and recited the Quran for 3 days, 3 times, and he found the ayah in Surah An-Nisa regarding ijma'. But the point being that this is ijma', that whenever you have all of the mujtahidun meaning the highest caliber of scholars, those scholars that aren't just scholars, but they are such a level where they themselves can derive their own rulings. When all of them get together and agree on a certain issue, Islamic issue, then that is considered ijma'. So regarding this issue, and for example, there's ijma', there are 5 pillars of Islam. The ijma'. Now that is something that no Muslim can turn around and disagree with. And some ulama have even gone to the extent to say that ijma' is stronger than the Quran and Sunnah. Ijma' is stronger than the Quran and Sunnah. Why? In what sense? Not in the sense of degrading the Quran or anything, but in terms of if you have an ayah or we have a hadith, then there could be a possibility that there's another hadith which shows us, that changes the meaning slightly, or it shows that it's not haram, it's makruh, or there's another hadith showing that the other hadith is abrogated, for example. Yeah. Whereas ijma', once that happens, then ijma' never goes against an ayah or a hadith. In fact, ijma' it's a outcome of the ayah of a hadith. The ulama wouldn't get together on a certain issue except after studying the Quran and Sunnah. So when all of the ulama get together and they research a certain issue, they look at all of the ayat and all the hadith, and then they come to their conclusion. And if that conclusion, after studying the Quran and Sunnah, if all of the mujtahidun agree on a certain issue, then that is considered ijma'. That is considered ijma'. And this is studied in the science of usul al-fiqh. It's studied in usul al-fiqh. What is ijma'? What are the conditions of ijma'? Can ijma' take place in our time now? Because now, obviously, in time of Sahaba, it was a lot easier. All the scholars were in one place, Makkah, Medina, and so on. But now, across the world, it's a lot more difficult. And then there's the other issue is that do we have people now at the actual... We have scholars, but do we have people at the level of being a mujtahid? And so on. All of these issues they're studied in usul al-fiqh. But what you guys need to know right now is the general meaning of ijma'. The ijma' is when all the scholars basically get together and agree on a certain issue. And if ijma' does take place and ijma' is established, then that is something which is obligatory upon a Muslim to follow.